Now it's going to go in comfort and it'll just downshift. I mean, it's not a race car, but it feels like you're driving with a real CVT where you give it a command and it actually does it.
If you're unhappy with the performance of your 1500 Ranger or Expedition, know that tuning them changes everything. Here's why.
My name's Eli. You guys probably see me on UTV-A. Usually I'm the entertainment here. This video's been a long time coming. When I got this car, this thing is super heavy, right? We're talking right at or north of 4,000 pounds. This box, empty, and the bed slide and the toolbox and all that stuff in the back of that thing is about 800 or 900 pounds, plus you put kit in it, right? So yeah, the car's great and it's got, you know, suspension and wheels and tires and it's sprung by shock therapy. I mean, upfit in conjunction with geyser and shock therapy put this car together. It's a prototype car. This is the first one that they did, and now they're actually in production making this very car. So it's got some extra goodies, and with the extra goodies comes a lot of weight. And with a lot of weight comes reduction in performance, comes, you know, strain on, you know, parts and pieces. But like, let's be honest, it's not this, right? So if you're coming out of this car that's got 300 wheel horsepower, 1,500 pounds lighter, that's a completely different animal, right? I know I gotta manage expectations, but I just thought to myself, like, there's gotta be something better that I can do. Anybody that has one of these, you know the transmission shifting is absolutely terrible. It's terrible. Power on the vehicle, like, to me, honestly, I think the vehicle has enough power, but I think the transmission is the crux on this. And again, these are kind of designed for putzing around and doing whatever, but I'll tell you, like, anyway, I want to talk about the Gilomen tune. I called Gilomen and I said, hey, you know, I'm doing some content. You're not any of the big brand tuners that a lot of people know, and I think you make a really good product. I said, I would like to make a video on what you have. You guys are a small outfit, but you do, I mean, from what I've seen, you guys have done really, really good stuff. It's not PF Chang's where you got 900 things on your menu. You do Polaris, and that's what you do, and you do it well.
Dude, that's nice.
And inside of here, do you see those boxes right there? What you can do is you take your factory ECU and TCU out, and you can send it to them, and then they bench it. It takes like 2 weeks, and then they'll send you your stuff that goes with your machine. I could care less about my ECU and TCU that go with this machine. I sent them mine. They sent me 2 that were done off the shelf. Literally, I was back in business in like 4 days. You're not gonna, this is a custom piece. You're gonna raise your bed up, and basically right behind here is your ECU and your TCU, and you'll see how to take, it's super straightforward. It's a couple of small plastic screws that go in. Don't gorilla torque them. You can just take like a hand nut driver, and I think it's like a T whatever torques, and take it off. You put it in, you go through the steps, you cycle everything, you start it up, you let it run, and boom, there it is, right? I would disconnect your battery when you do all of this, and make sure that you're doing everything in the right order. I did not do things in the right order. I got a check engine light on my car. I called them up, they're like, disconnect your battery, let it sit for 5 minutes, reconnect it, and then I resequenced the car and it was fine. Okay, let's talk about drivability and what that tune does. You can look on the website, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 20 horsepower it gives it. It gives you a lot more RPM. It removes the speed limiter, which these cars, for what they are plenty fast enough already. I think they'll do 65, 70 miles an hour. This car on 35s will do right at 90 miles an hour. Plenty, plenty fast to haul the mail. Like, if you're going 90 miles an hour in this car, you know you're going 90 miles an hour in this car. What's up, man? Come on in.
All right.
Welcome to the nicety. No more dirt bagging it. This thing's got some vibrations, man. I'm gonna be getting my floors, doors, and all that stuff done too. And first off, you don't have to get crazy RPMs to get this thing moving. I'm at 2100 RPMs. This thing locks up pretty quick. It upshifts and downshifts so nice now.
No, it's working, dude.
I don't think there's a speed limiter on the tow haul. I think the stock car has a 25 mile an hour speed limiter or something like that. You can run tow haul at whatever. And this actually has like a launch control on it too. Gilomen was telling me you could put this thing in tow haul and just put this thing right to the floor, and like 2 seconds later it'll do like a full RPM launch. You feel that downshift? Isn't that crazy, dude?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, here we go. 20, 30, 40. That's probably 60. I know it said 53 right there, but I'm on 35, so don't forget that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. I probably should get a GPS in here. But now it's in sport, right? So it's gonna hold that RPM. Now watch this. Now it's gonna go in comfort and it'll just downshift all the way out.
Oh, yeah, that's real nice.
Super nice, right?
Yeah,
it's quiet and you
100%.
can do it on the fly. Dude, how cush is this thing? But let's put it in tow haul. Actually, sport's probably better. Okay, here we go. You want to watch the speedometer here?
I'm watching it right now.
Okay.
You got it.
And again, if you're in a stock vehicle, stock weight on stock tires, this thing would be bananas for sure.
Ready.
Here we go. Yeah, the off throttle with the transmission, and again, this isn't accurate, right? You can probably add about 4 to 5 miles an hour to whatever's happening on the speedometer. It's amazing. It holds this thing in such a lower gear in this tow haul mode. There's a lot more engine noise. Go, ready?
Ready.
Probably 80 plus right there, and we still had another 1200 RPMs. Dude, the brakes on this car is so good.
Oh,
That's not even full pedal. Okay, now I'm going to drive this back in comfort just so you can hear how quiet it actually is. Comfort's nice. I don't know, maybe I'm getting old, but it sure is nice. So here's comfort. I'm going to use just a little bit of throttle. Listen to how it kind of just holds it in that gear, you know what I mean? It's a little bit higher gear. Like, that's easy, dude. That's 50 miles an hour right there. Like 45 on here, but 50.
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty nice, man, and it's quiet. Listen to, I'm gonna give it a little throttle. Watch how fast this thing downshifts.
Oh yeah.
You can feel it grab. It's nice, and it's not like you're giving it throttle. The other thing with a stock car is this car gets up into the RPMs, and then there's just this crazy dead spot where the RPMs start to come up, and then the transmission's waiting, and then it sends a signal, and then the car actually like locks up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This doesn't do that anymore, you know? I mean, it's not a race car, but it feels like you're driving a Subaru or something with a real CVT where you give it a command and it actually does it. So let's talk.
Be all up in my business like how I was.
Okay, let's just talk here for a second.
All right.
All right, Mike, you're in the old man car. What do you think?
I've been sorely against these. I think they're a scourge to the earth. I don't know why anybody would get these and not get a go fast car. So I don't know.
Are you drinking the Kool-Aid?
I mean, I'm sitting in it.
I will say I'm impressed. I always look at these and I'm like, why don't you just go get a Bronco Raptor or like a Ranger Raptor or something that's actually a car? Because I think these are just wannabe cars that people use as flexes because it's a side-by-side.
Right. But it's a lot narrower than a full-size car, and you're not going to like take your $80,000 Bronco or Bronco Raptor and go cruising through the trees and ripping the car up and tearing the mirrors off, and like they don't have ground clearance like this thing has got.
Yeah, that's what that's the big arguments. The ground clearance and the narrowness are why people still get these.
Sure. Forward.
I still think, oh, that's so smooth.
Yeah. Yeah, so this has a real transmission. Wow. So like when you shift that,
look, yeah, one finger.
That's it, and one finger back. I mean, it's super nice. So we're in comfort mode, just so you can feel it. Don't go bananas.
I like that it goes forward like a regular car.
Yeah, that's nice.
This is an actual CBT with a steel belt.
Yeah, steel belt.
So it's not like
just
a regular,
like an automotive style CBT.
So it doesn't drive like a regular Razor.
No.
That's not like a car with a Razor motor. This is.
We're gonna go this way,
dude. Oh yeah, look, this turn signals.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so nice.
Yeah.
This is like gonna spoil me because this is a above and beyond car.
Yeah, this car, you can buy this car from Upfit for about $1,000.
Jeez.
No, I wish. No, definitely not $1,000. I mean,
oh, yeah, it's good power.
It's. I mean, for what it is,
no,
the responsiveness is really nice, huh? That's what I'm saying. Like, you touch the throttle, and that you're gonna automatically get a command. It's gonna do what you ask it to do. It's not like you're just gonna give it pedal, give it pedal, give it pedal, and then it just does this really hard downshift. It's always there.
No, I felt it right there.
Yeah. I mean, you could just give it a little.
We were in that Can-Am Defender.
Yeah.
That souped-up Defender, and it did not accelerate like this.
Yeah, for sure.
This one's nice.
It's pretty nice.
It's got plenty of power.
Yeah,
especially
for sure.
the payload. The payload will make it actually smoother in the back. That's why you chose this over the Rancher, because you could have chose one with a regular truck bed, right?
Yeah, for sure. I could have got a regular truck bed, but this is, it's nice. I have this option, but I can also put a regular truck bed on here if I wanted to.
Yeah, this is good.
It's really nice, huh? And like I said, it's in comfort, so the shifting isn't really aggressive,
Dude, this is like just as good as a regular car.
It's all, dude. It's all you need.
Nice.
It's all you need.
I feel like I am driving
a real car.
A real car, yeah.
But it's got, real off-road capabilities.
Yeah, that definitely how it took that bump.
It's all right.
Oh, it took that bump. I just went off the off-road there a little bit. Yeah. Can't feel nothing.
No, it's got QS3 shocks. It's sprung for the car. Everything Shock Therapy offers for these is on this car. I think it's
so smooth.
It's really smooth, yeah. And I'm running like a lot of PSI in these tires too. So like, if I was to air it down just a little bit, it'd be a completely different car. Your thoughts? I mean, I know you just drove it for a couple of minutes, but I mean, like, where do you see this as far as like riding and doing the kind of overland, maybe trips? I mean, obviously the car can do the speed. You're not going to be jumping it and throwing it sideways and everything else, but like, going over mountain ranges and crossing rivers and doing, this thing's going to climb a hill. It's going to do. Yeah. It's going to do everything that car is going to do. It's just not going to do it at the pace that we usually do it. But you know what? Here's another thing. There's no such thing as bad weather in these cars. It's going to be too hot.
I have also really enjoyed the AC. It's chilly.
Dude, I got the AC. It's not even maxed out. It's on 1.
Yeah, it's on 1 and it's cold in here.
Yeah.
I had wondered because of the thin walls and thin windows how it would hold. It's holding it just fine.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then you got this in Phoenix where it's definitely hotter, and it held it there just fine.
Yeah, I will say, like, between the Defender and this, like, the air conditioner is far superior in this machine than it is in that Defender. Well, the one that we drove anyway.
Yeah, I've only been in one. I like this way better than that Defender.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know if that Defender
I mean, like, the doors are real, like,
anything, but yeah.
You get in this thing and close the doors, like, they're like real doors. You know what I mean? Like, like, close that thing, dude.
No, it's heavy and it feels solid.
Yeah.
Like a real door. Yeah, it doesn't feel like the plastic doors that we have on
they're like all noodly. Yeah, for sure.
That feel like, Dude, and this thing.
I know.
Look at that. That just goes right up there.
Yep, for sure. Chad from Tint My UTV reached out to me and he's like, dude, that's a pretty rad machine and I think you need some tint on it. And I'm like, I'm not a big tint guy, but I am in Northern California and it does get pretty hot. And so he's like, hey, this is a super easy kit, super straightforward. Everything is laser cut. It's all ceramic tint and anybody can put it on. I'm thinking about pulling, all these pieces and parts and all this stuff off the inside and I'm all worried about everything. And I put this piece of tint on first and I made the one mistake, right? I had that one bubble right there and I'm like, well, okay. And then I went on, well, I haven't even cleaned it yet. You can still see all the marks and the squeegee marks on that window in there. This whole job took me an hour to do. An hour. It took me longer to clean the windows than it did to install it. Your air conditioner doesn't have to work as hard. It's really, really nice. And if you guys want some tint, here's your tint right here. Call Chad, he'll score you away.